Namaste, sir. I have been following your channel for some time and I also learn Vedas from my Acharya. He is a great tapasvi. He does everyday yaj and also is in sannyas ashram. I cannot tell his name due to this question, but he is from Kerala side. I have learnt a lot from him and also I am learning a lot from your channel. Thank you very much for that. I have lived very close with my Acharya and I know that he is never money minded. He never asks for donation from any of his disciples and also he views all the ladies with great respect. I have noticed some things in him which is disturbing me and that is why I am writing to you. I feel these are not as per Vedas, such as supporting or doing partiality with some of his disciples, supporting his family members, although he is in sannyas ashrama, he sends money to his family member who is not leading a Vedic life, as I know that person very well. I am confused and disturbed. Can you please share some of your thoughts and show me some light? I am really confused. Please help me. It's a recent question I got in my email ID. It's a difficult question for me to answer, but based on my learning, especially from Taittiriya Upanishad, there are certain indications from the Rishi who wrote the Upanishad. There are certain indications on what a disciple must do in this kind of situation. I'll try to explain to you my view, but I am happy to know that there is an Acharya in Kerala who is a sannyasi who does everyday yajna and also teaches Vedas to their disciples. My pranams to such Acharyas. See, basically what you must do is, number one is never judge any Acharya. I'm not too sure if your Acharya is a Samadhist yogi, he has attained Samadhi, etc. I'm not too sure. But irrespective of that, Acharya is a one who teaches you Vedas and who also practices Vedas, Vedic Dharma in his life. So if you are satisfied with your Acharya that he is practicing Vedic Dharma in his life, I think the first and foremost kartavya of a disciple is to not to judge the Acharya. Maybe from your perspective he is doing something which is against Vedas. You might not know the full situation or full scenario inside. So in this case, my Acharya gives some suggestion. In this case, when you have a doubt on Acharya, especially pertaining to his sannyas ashrama or especially pertaining to whether he is showing partiality to somebody, etc., the best thing is to ask question by making you bold. Please ask directly to Acharya, because it's difficult to ask questions to Acharya directly, especially these kind of questions. I understand, but I have seen in the past, I have seen in one of the yajna in 2009 or 2010, some in that like 15 years back, I have seen one disciple was there and he was having doubt on my Acharya, and he dared himself to ask directly in front of my Acharya on his face, and my Acharya appreciated him. My Acharya told that really good that you asked me on the face, because it is always good to clarify on the face rather than having your sanshaya inside your mind, because sanshaya atma vinashyati. The person who doubts Vedic Dharma, the person who doubts Acharyas who are great tapasvis and yogis, etc., vinashyati means their tapasya might go in vain. But if it's a genuine doubt, like a person is you feel that your Acharya is supporting or doing partiality on some of your his disciples, please ask your Acharya that can I understand, is it okay or not. I'm not too sure whether you are in a position to ask or not, but it is better to ask directly. But if you cannot ask, what you should do. And similarly, Acharya is a sannyasi, but he is giving money to his family member. I think it's don't judge that action. Also, we do not know what's the background, or I don't know you know the background or not, but an Acharya helping his family member even after sannyas is it is okay. It is you just have to leave it to your Acharya. But see the important advice from Taittiriya Upanishad, Shiksha Adhyaya Valli. I found this shloka because this shloka my Acharya explained to us long years back. There is one word where Acharya is giving advice to his disciples At the time of Samavartan means after you finish the education, Acharya gives advice. There is even in Samavartan Sanskar, this shloka comes. It's actually equivalent to a mantra. It's not a normal shloka, it's like a mantra where Acharya says really important things, like he says Matra Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, etc. And he says, I have to use a lens, sorry for that, the words are so small. He says, Yani yan avadhyani karmani tani sevitvayani no itarani. Acharya says avadhyani karmani, that which is not prohibited by Vedas, those karmas, tani sevityani, you must accept those karmas which are not prohibited by the Vedas. No itrani, don't do any karmas which are against the Vedas. This is the advice Acharya gives. But the important thing comes after this. He says, Acharya says, Yani asmakam sucharitani tani tvaya upasyani no itarani. Very, very important. Acharya is so humble enough here. The Rishi writes here. He says, Yani asmakam, hamare, asmakam means mine, mera. Jo bhi mera sucharitani. You know me, I have given you Diksha, I have accepted you as my disciple, you have lived with me in my ashram, now you are completing the education and you are going ahead to your future. You are going to your Grahastha ashrama, or you may try to go and do business, or you may do work, etc. So the Acharya says, Asmakam sucharitani. If you want to accept something from me, accept my sucharitani. Take my upasyani. Upasya means accept and do upasana of those things which are good in me. Like you have mentioned that your Acharya is a great tapasvi. You have mentioned your Acharya does everyday yajna. You have mentioned that your Acharya is not money minded. You have mentioned that your Acharya never asks for donation. You have mentioned that your Acharya views all the ladies with great respect. See the number of gunas your Acharya has. So here the Rishi says that Sucharitani, this Sundar Charitravan, these characters, these gunas you must accept. And then Avadhyani, if there is something which as per your perspective you feel that this is not as per Vedas, then here humbly Acharya says, no itarani. If your Acharya is doing anything against the Dharma, because you have been taught Dharma by your Acharya, you have studied in Gurukul for maybe 12 years, 18 years, 24 years, 44 years, 35 years, whatever it may be. And you know the Dharma very well, Dharmas are Veda, Akhila Dharma Moolam, Vedas are Dharma, the Dharma is from Vedas. So you know very clearly what is right and what is wrong. So if you find something in your Acharya, that is Asmakam, here the sutra says, the shloka says, if you find something in me which is not acceptable to your eyes based on your Vedic learnings, here Acharya humbly says, no itarani, do not take it forward, do not adopt that in your life. Like example, you are saying that your Acharya is helping somebody in his family member after taking sannyas. Maybe from your perspective it is wrong. After sannyas you must not have contact with his family members. Maybe it is your perspective and maybe as per dharma also, but we do not know the exact situation of the Acharya. At least I do not know, maybe you know. I don't want to comment on that. But my suggestion to you here is remove your, see Acharyas, you told that you have been following your Acharya very closely, so that means you have learnt a lot from your Acharya, right? You have mentioned that also, you have learnt a lot from your Acharya and also from my channel. Leave me, I am not an Acharya, I am a normal person. But even tomorrow you see something bad in me, like you see some of my answer reply to some of the people, I would have replied harshly sometimes, I would have replied something else. So don't take those bad character of me, take some of my good character, whatever you see in my answers in my video. Similarly, I'm not Acharya, I'm a normal person. So what we must do is take the good things of anybody we see in the world. Even the worst of the worst person in the world might have some good character, some good guna which we might try to adopt. Even the worst person in the world, right? He might have a hardworking character. He might have a Dridha Sankalpa character which we may try to adopt in our life. Leave the bad things of everybody. And when it comes to Acharya, the first and foremost thing is no itarani. If you feel that something I am doing wrong, there is some dosh in me as you see, don't consider to follow those things in your life. So if you I feel that you must ask questions to your Acharya, but if you cannot ask questions to your Acharya due to circumstances, due to your fear of like your Acharya might get angry on you, or something else might bother you in your mind, in that case just ignore the mistakes or doshas. What you see, these things are doshas, right? These are the dosh which you see in Acharya. Acharya has helped you a lot in your life to mold your character. He has helped you a lot in bringing tapasya gun inside you. He has taught you Veda mantras. He has given you so much of knowledge. So these small things you must ignore, and then you must try to take his good characters and then take it forward and naam roshan karna hai. When you go into the, when you go outside and speak to somebody, help somebody, they must feel that इनका आचार्य कितना अच्छा होगा. My Acharya always says that, see, when you go outside and talk to somebody, and when you serve the nation, when you serve an elder outside, when you help somebody, please understand they will also appreciate me because I am your Acharya. So similarly, when you have to take forward your Acharya's good gunas and then try to spread the name of your Acharya. Of course, you have mentioned that you will not tell his name. It's okay, I understand, because you want to keep it secretive. That is also a good thing as per me, because you have not revealed his name. So you must promote the good characters inside your Acharya. And the sutra, the shloka, Taittiriya Upanishad, this is Siksha Adhyaya Valli Ekadasha Anuvakam, second shloka, very clearly says that anything mistake in me, if it is against Vedas, as per your view, it is not as per Vedas, please ignore it. And once one disciple asked a question to my Acharya on this shloka also, that how an Acharya can do anything against Vedas. So my Acharya clarified that, it might be from the perspective of the disciple, because the disciple is not at a realized Atma. So there might be perspective difference. So in that case, if you have some doubt, then leave that alone. Ask question to Acharya. You cannot ask the question. You cannot ask to Acharya that why you are showing partial to one disciple against other. You cannot ask this question to Acharya. Just ignore it. It's not a big deal. I know what you mean by, I can relate in the sense I can understand what you understand as partiality. It might not be partiality. It is actually yogyata maybe. We do not know. Like an Acharya knows better who is Yogya Shishya, right? So it might not be partiality, but from your point of view, you feel it as a partiality. So just ignore it. And similarly, he's giving help to somebody of his family member. Don't say that since he is a sannyas, he's taken sannyas, he cannot have touch with his family. No, just ignore those small things. These are not important in life. What is important in life is we to attain the position of our Acharya, means we should attain moksha. Acharya has attained samadhi, so we must also try to walk the path of Acharya to attain samadhi. I do not know your Acharya is a samadhist yogi or not, but if he's a great tapasvi, one day he would be a samadhist yogi, if not today, right? So possible tomorrow. So you must focus to walk the path of dharma, because dharma, you have closely lived with your Acharya, just to focus to attain moksha. And moksha, also there is a saying, it's not a Veda mantra, moksha moolam guru kripa. So when you have closeness with your Acharya, means when you follow your Acharya's tapasya. For example, my Acharya says, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2:45 in the morning. I do dhyan for 5 hours, 6 hours. Learn these good things. Suppose your Acharya is doing yajna, that means your Acharya does everyday Brahma yajna, he does everyday Deva yajna, he meditates on Veda mantras, he explains Veda mantras, he does adhyayan of Veda mantras. Example, I do not know what he does. So you can learn these things and focus on these things rather than small things, and remove the confusion and disturbance. You have mentioned I am confused and disturbed. Remove the confusions from the mind. And when you have confusion, sit on meditation and ask Paramatma that I am confused, remove my confusion. When you continuously ask Paramatma and chant Gayatri mantra, one day you will get a light. Somewhere you will get a light to clarify everything. It's very, very important, but don't distance yourself from the Acharya. This is what I can say. I can advise. Thank you so much. I'm not too sure if I clarified your question, but these are some of the thoughts from the Upanishad as well as from my learning, what I can suggest to you. Thank you so much. Namaste. Om.